Hey there! Danny is in the area. How are you guys? Hey there. Danny's in the area. Hi everyone. Tonight, English speaking Danny is going to be here with you guys. If you wanna If you speak Portuguese and you want to listen to this word, go on my last video. Se você fala português e você quer ver essa palavra de hoje, vá no meu último vídeo do Instagram aí, que vai ser essa palavra. Okay, well, I'm glad to have you guys here tonight with me. And I will be talking about responsibility, your ability to respond. So, something has come to my heart, and I am keeping up my promise of overflowing anything that I learn throughout my day, anything that comes to my heart. And today I want to speak to you about responsibility, your ability to respond to circumstances. Sometimes when we are acting through fear, we usually have 5 responses we take. We usually attack, run away, avoid, ignore, or we can succumb. Succumb circumstances or people. And I want to be talking about these responses with you guys. Overall, it's usually the fight or flight response we have towards people and circumstances. Sometimes running away can be a mature response. The Bible is going to say that we should run away when something appears bad, when something appears evil. So, in the appearance of evil, we should run away. So, when there's appearance of evil and we run away, we are not being scary cats. We're actually being courageous enough to run away from the appearance of evil. So, you have to contextualize these responses, right? You have to contextualize these responses. Sometimes an attack can be a, a, a loving hug. Sometimes an attack can be a word of love. So we have to contextualize, and responsibility is that contextualization of what's the best response I have in this circumstance to this person. Sometimes adolescents, in adolescency, our parents tell us, I want you to be responsible. I want you to be more responsible. What are parents asking of us? I want you to have ability to respond to life. I want you to have ability to respond to people. Ok? Se você quer ver essa palavra, vá no meu último vídeo em português e assista sobre responsabilidade. Well, this is what our parents are asking of us, ability to respond to people and circumstances. And there's a text from the Bible that came to my heart, and it's on 1st of Corinthians, and it goes like this. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, in other words, when I became a grown person, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. So in First Corinthians, it's gonna tell us how when we were a kid, we acted, we thought, and we spoke like a kid. Now that I became adult, that's no long accepted. Now that I became matured, a grown person, I cannot act like a child anymore. I cannot think like a child anymore. When we think about a child, kids, they don't have the ability to auto regulate their emotions. Also, they usually don't know what they're feeling. They learn about emotions and what they're feeling by the information we give them. Oh, child, you're feeling frustrated because you didn't get the toy. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. So, in all of those circumstances, we're teaching the kids what they're feeling and how to auto regulate their feelings. So, when I was a child, I spoke, thought, and acted like a child. Now that I'm a grown person, I can't have that anymore. I have to be able to auto regulate my emotions. I have to be able to recognize what it is I'm feeling. And when we think about the ability to respond, we must respond the best way. I want you to get this. Love is at war. Love is at war. It is a silence war, but love is at war. And we have to have the ability to respond. Querido primo, se você quiser ver essa palavra, ela foi falada ontem em português. É o meu último vídeo no Instagram. Hoje eu estou falando ela em inglês. And we have to act and respond with love. Sometimes the most potent gun, the most powerful gun, the most powerful attack we can have is with a love expression, with a loving eyesight, with a loving word of motivation, with a loving hug. Remember this, love is at war. It's a silence war, and we must respond with responsibility. We have to be able to choose our responses. Another text that came to my heart was the second letter to Timothy. It says like this, for for the spirit of God, for the spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. So, what the second letter of Timothy is saying is that the Spirit of God is not one that makes you timid, it's not one that makes you scared, but the Spirit of God is one that gives us power, great power, that gives us love and self discipline. This is the response of God. His responses are not timid. His responses are courageous, are powerful, loving, and with self discipline. And when I thought about responsibility, how much we can either attack or run away, I thought about a text where it shows that a few religious people brought to Jesus. They caught a woman in adultery and they made her stand before the group of people and said to Jesus, Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses, It's commended to us that we stone her to death. Such woman should be dead, stoned. Now, what do you say, Jesus? Tell us, what do you say? This group of religious people were using this question as a trap to catch Jesus in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus, look how responsible, how much Jesus had a great ability to respond to a circumstance that could have brought him discomfort or fear. Usually, when we're in fear, we attack. And let's see what Jesus said, what Jesus did. Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his fingers. So he didn't respond, he was just silent. He ignored the group of religious men that brought only this adultery woman. They didn't bring no men. And I bet she was with some adultery men also. And when they kept on asking him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again, he stopped that he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away, one by one, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened it up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" And she said, "No one, sir." "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and live your life and leave your life of sin." So, in this story, we can see the ability of the elders to leave a judging position first. They were the first to leave and not judge. So, when we become grown adults, we must stand in a posture where we leave circumstances or people or groups of people that are just judging. We have to have the ability to respond. Jesus was great in his response. He didn't attack, he silenced himself. He found in himself the best response. Sometimes what we want to do is respond fast, just in automated responsing, responsive. We can't. We must find in ourselves the best response. This is what's responsibility. Your ability to respond the best way to people and circumstances. And one thing we have to know is we can recalculate the route. We don't have to be on the same route. You can recalculate your response. Find your best ability to respond to people and life. Remember, love is at war. It's a silence war, but it's at war. And how do we win this war? What's the best attack? Love expressions. The only the only response we can't have out of the five we usually have through fear, which is attack, run away, avoid, ignore, or succumb. The only one we can't have out of this is succumb. We can't succumb circumstances. We can't succumb to fear. And remember that sometimes the most powerful attack you can have in a circumstance or with someone is a loving expression. Because love is at war. It's a silence war, but it's at war. So think better about your responses. Take your time. Choose what's your best response in a circumstance with someone. And remember that sometimes the most powerful attack can be a loving expression. This is the word that came to my heart and that I wanted to share with you guys. I want to thank you for this space, for all of you that's here listening. Hey there. Um, I am. Um, let me open this text for you. Genesis 1:26, because I think you might need this about yourself also. Genesis 1:26. Someone from another platform was like, "What the hell? What are you?" I'm about to tell him who I am and who he is because he probably doesn't have identity either. And God said, "Let us make men in our image, after our likenesses, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So who am I? What the hell am I? I am made in God's image and likeness. This is what I am. I am a creature that was made in God's image and likeness. And sometimes you might not have this identity, but you should try it. It's an identity that will give you power. You were made to have dominion over your life. You were made to have dominion over your finances. You were made to have dominion over your feelings and emotions. And this is what I brought to you here: responsibility, your ability to respond. With this word I was giving, the ability to respond you had was, "What the hell? What are you?" This was your ability. My ability to respond was to remind you who I am and who you are. You are a creature made in the Creator, the Lord's image and likeness. And you know what that means? You are made to have dominion. Dominion over your finances, over your life, over your emotions, and you were made to live like a king. You were made to have dominion over your life. So I want you guys to have a great night. And remember that responsibility is your ability to choose well. Remember how Jesus responds with that woman that was brought to him as an adultery woman by religious man, and he he started writing on the ground and ignored everyone. And once people started questioning him more, he stood up and said, "Hey, if any of you doesn't have any sin, be the first one to stone her." And from the elder to the youngest people, they left, and nobody threw a stone. You know why? Because we all have sins, and he made them look inside. So remember to that you have the ability to respond. Remember that love is at war. It's a silence war, but it is at war. And sometimes the most powerful attack you can have is with love. Also, remember your true identity. You are made by the Creator's own image and likeness. I love you guys. I want you guys to have a great night. Thank you so much. I will see you here tomorrow, but I will be speaking a word to you in Portuguese. And after tomorrow, I'll be doing it in English again. So remember these points. I love you guys. You are made in His image and likeness. You were made to have dominion of your life. I want you prosperous and living a great life. Have a great night. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. See you later, alligator.